out of the game.
Are y'all off the Nuss bus for the love of God at this point? Come on.
I think
Come on.
I think Nussmeier showed you the difference in the feeling around Daniels to Nussmeier, right? Like Daniels, I think his the concern about Daniels, not even a concern, maybe the criticism of Daniels would be that he looks to run too fast, maybe he looks to run too quick, but the alternative in the competition is trying to keep plays alive and not making the best decisions and turning the ball over, and that'll get you beat. And the experience and the veteran just veteran experience that Jaden Daniels has is the difference in this. And Daniels is running this offense well. Look, I said Nussmeier the entire time, and I told you last week, and I continue to say it this week. We were wrong on that, especially for this offense, and Nussmeier needs more time to develop.
But why was there even a competition? Like, why for so long did it drag out to the point where we thought it was between the two of them? And then that's what we see.
It was. And, I mean, just because the sample size that you saw on Saturday night does not evaluate the entire competition. I think Nussmeier, for as bad as that pick six was, and that was brutal, and even the first interception was bad in the case of, like, what were you looking at? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it was a very simple read that you would think, that ball's going to be picked off. He still is a playmaker at that position, and he still has ability to be a starter in this league. The staff saw it last season. This staff sees it this year. For two coaching staffs to come in, evaluate one player, and him be in pretty similar spots, those guys are too expert in their field and too professional to both miss. Mm-hmm. So Nussmeier gives you a chance to win. There's just some bad with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if you watched college football this weekend, the quarterback play is not that good. Ask Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if Notre Dame had a heartbeat at quarterback, they would be competitive.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and Nussmeier, there are a lot of people out there that would love to have Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that he's the second string quarterback at LSU gives you some sign and gives you some security of, look, they got a guy that still needs to be developed, still needs to be coached up, but he's got the tools and the essentials to get there. But as far as this competition goes, you see the difference.
Yeah.
You saw the difference.
Ready to be QB1?
No.
And I also think there's a huge difference between camp and scrimmages and then whenever you're on the field with another team. I think that's where the real Nuss kind of comes out.
Yep.
Whenever there's people, running at him and the pressure's kind of higher, and that's when he makes those kind of gunslinger-ish decisions that you don't see in camp because he's not in those situations.
And I think he wants to prove so badly that he can be the starter, so he forced it a little bit because
he's pressing.
He was pressing. Like it's unfortunate because those are all the things that they're trying to coach out of him, like the throw, moving left, tried to throw it back right, and he was pointing to try to get him to come across the middle a little bit, and he just kind of threw it up, and that's when it looks bad, but you can see the intent. But I think he's trying so hard to be like, look, if I was in here, I could still be the guy. That's not what you want to see from him.
You also saw your first look of Walker Howard on Saturday night, and that is the absolute future of what that position is going to look like. So however this thing shakes out is going to be really interesting next season, because I think Jaden Daniels is the quarterback for LSU this year. Mm-hmm. I think that if he was to if someone was to happen to him, or you're in a situation like Saturday night where you're playing New Mexico in a couple of weeks and you can get some guys the other reps, I think that you see Garrett Nussmeier. But Jaden Daniels is the guy on this team. I think he's the quarterback that will play the majority of the season, and he gives you the best chance to win.
And if there's a positive to it, kind of put to bed any quarterback controversy. If Jaden Daniels gets off to a slow start again in conference play, anything like that, you're like, well, this is what LSU had. This is the best opportunity LSU has to win, as opposed to not knowing. Yeah. I know it's a small sample size, but anytime the favorite man on campus is the backup, now that conversation's like, put in Walker Howard. Mm-hmm. Like it puts to bed this might be a 2-quarterback race. It feels like, at least for now.
Yeah, no doubt. So what I took away from Saturday, and we were going into the game, you were saying you were looking for some things, and the first thing was get the special team stuff cleaned up. And, for the most part, I really thought they did. I thought that they cleaned up a lot of the easy stuff back there. We did see a new a punt returner in Gregory Clayton Jr., who we had on the show here when he transferred in from Texas San Antonio, related to Jarvis Landry. Back there, sure-handed, made the grabs, was able to catch the football. So you saw that from the special team standpoint. The running game, which we talked about, getting that going, and get the positive news of John Emery returning to the lineup here going into this game against Mississippi State, which Mississippi State was still playing football at 2:30 in the morning, East Coast time.
That's why I said that's the longest day of football ever.
I mean,
it never ended.
It was
Jeez.
just.
Did you make it to the end? Did you make it to the end of the game?
No, I didn't make
No
it to the very end.
chance.
I
I placed my
woke up
bed.
in a
I placed my
panic.
bet. Went to bed. Woke up 3:30 in the morning and saw
the account.
that like it had just went final. I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Winner.
I woke up in a
Catch
panic.
that ticket.
But I mean, it was. I wonder what that means for this week for Mississippi State. I mean, they didn't get back in their bed. They didn't get back to Starkville until what, 6 in the morning?
It's crazy.
Yesterday?
That was a crazy trip for them.
I mean, just a wild early season trip for Mississippi State. They go out to Arizona, take care of business, but LSU on Saturday night was able to piecemeal together 230 yards on the ground rushing, led by Armani Goodwin. It was good to see Kayshawn with a 41-yard run. He looked smooth on that reverse, man. He looked good in the open field, and there was obviously a very concerted effort to get him involved in the offense. 5 grabs for Kayshawn, 42 yards in the air. We mentioned the one run for 41 yards early in the game. But from just a competitive standpoint, there wasn't much that you could take away when you evaluate LSU on Southern. But some of the things that you take away of what LSU was trying to do, they shook up the offensive line, right? They moved Charles Turner into center. It was something that we talked about late in the week last week of that they're still trying to find these top 5 guys and how they're going to play. They moved Miles Frazier from the guard spot back to his original tackle spot. He's now playing outside on the right side. You've got Garrett Dellinger, who's now been moved from center to guard.
Is that permanent?
Right
We don't
now it's
know.
not.
Okay.
Last week it was a totally different lineup. 3
Yeah.
weeks ago in camp it was a different
Yeah.
lineup. They're still just trying to shuffle around and find the guy. It feels like this was the one that graded out from the, listening to Brian Kelly's immediate reaction after the game. He liked what he saw, but the competition level is going to be at such a higher click on Saturday that you probably can't get a fair evaluation of if they'll be able to withstand it. But I think he likes the size of Frazier on the outside. I think he likes the athleticism and the strength and aggression of Garrett Dellinger now playing at an original spot at guard. I thought Charles Turner played really good on Saturday night. I did. I thought that he knew he had an opportunity. He's athletic. He's a guy that, hopefully the light will go on for him. And, if you can solve that center question with Turner and allow Dellinger to be, a guard, and then you've got Miles Frazier on the outside at right tackle, and then Anthony Bradford is now at the left guard spot, and then you've got Will Campbell. How good Campbell look running next to Armani Goodwin.
Give him the ball.
I mean, that is a big, strong athlete, dude, in the open field, running alongside a running back.
You can see how strong he is because Armani bumped into
Bounced
him.
off
It
of
was
him.
game.
Just bounced off of him.
Without disrespecting Southern, I felt like this was good practice for them.
Oh, it's
It was
beautiful.
almost in slow motion. I could really see everything, see everybody, see what they looked like. There was so much to watch that you could really take in at that game.
You see why it would have been a huge advantage to play them in week 1.
Yeah.
Right? And
My
get that
gosh,
stuff
yeah.
figured out before you go play Florida State, rather than figuring that stuff out playing an opponent like Florida State in a game that, really can swing your season as far as, what the postseason is going to look like from a win-loss record, going into it. So, I thought, on Saturday there were some good takeaways, man. The offensive line, obviously, the run game was there, the special teams cleanups, I thought. But, there's not a lot that you're going to learn about LSU. You just kind of see some of the adjustments that they're trying to make going into Mississippi State. It'll be a really intriguing week of preparation with opening up conference play at home. We'll be over at the press conference today at noon as Brian Kelly will address the media for the first time here in game week. We'll hear his reaction after getting a chance to watch some of the film on Saturday. But all in all, I thought that Saturday was a great experience and really a good example that the town can use moving forward of bringing together the community and really celebrating.